Hey everyone, welcome back to the shoddy decorated hotel room I'm in. I know this is a little bit different than what you're used to seeing, and um, that's because we've been at the track all day. And before that, I was up for 40 hours doing a whole bunch of stuff with the car and getting the stuff here and trying to make sure everything's running perfect. And a lot of hindrances on the way, a lot of hindrances. Tons of problems pop up, not necessarily related to racing, but those tack on and they add on to other things and make it a little bit more difficult. But we got to the track, everyone got tacked, the car got tacked, it passed with flying colors. And oh, who's here? Hey, Nikki. Hi. Um, yeah, so the car's here, we're tacked. All of our gear is tacked, all of the drivers are tacked, and we have we started the race. The green flag dropped, and Craig was the uh, first driver out today. And was Craig first driver out, or was Ted? No, Craig was the first driver out. Ted's first driver out tomorrow. So we had a bunch of laps, and then we had a small oil leak from the and I'll try and describe this to you guys. It's kind of convoluted. It's better if I actually had the race car here and I could take the camera and show you guys. So it's where you attach your oil filter. And this is very simple. There's one spot on your engine block where you attach your oil filter, and it goes through there and gets filtered and then goes back, and your engine's happy. So hey Liz. So on the MR6, on the 1MZ engine on the MR6, we have what's called a sandwich plate. And the sandwich plate goes between your oil filter and the block. And the sandwich plate has a couple of ports in it. It actually has 4 ports in total. So one port on this side is for the oil temperature sensor. One small port on this side is for the oil pressure sensor. And then you have 2 ports down here, which are AN fittings. They're AN lines. And they, on this car in particular, they're dash 10, they move a lot of oil. And those AN lines come out and they go over to a separate oil cooler, and air passes over that and cools the oil. So one of the lines comes out, goes to the oil cooler, cools off, and then comes back in and goes back to the engine block. So it actually goes to the filter and then goes back to the engine block. So this sandwich plate is put on there, and there's a little adapter that threads in, and there's a little gasket on the back of that, so that when you press it into the block, it stays tight and sealed. And then you have your AN lines, and those are very simple. We've talked about AN lines here before. So we had a leak somewhere on that sandwich plate. Now on Friday, it was very late Thursday night, very early, like 4 o'clock in the morning on 3 o'clock in the morning on Friday morning, I found that oil leak on the sandwich plate, and I replaced the gasket. And I thought we were 100% good to go, and everything was great. And we get up here to the track, we unload the car, we go out for a lap, and we notice that there's a little drip, and we're like, "Are you kidding me?" So go back in there, pull the oil filter off. You lose a little bit of oil, but you let the car down. Let the car cool off, pull off the oil filter, tighten that adapter back up, and hopefully that O-ring, that big O-ring on the backside here, seals up, and we won't have any more problems. Put the oil filter back on, add a little smidge of oil, and we're good to go back out on the track. So we had our next driver go out. Excuse me, Ted went out, and we still have an oil leak. It's it's not a major thing. We're not running any kind of huge risks, but it's not good for other competitors. It's not good for us. It's just not good. So we don't want to have any leaks. So the car comes back in, and we have, it's obviously something other than the main nut that tightens that sandwich plate on. It's coming from the AN line or coming from the fitting that goes into the sandwich plate for the AN line. We found the 2 O-rings for those 2 fittings had been flattened out. So we definitely had leaks there. And again, you lose a little bit of time, you lose a little bit of laps, but you get those off. Fortunate enough, we found a team I think it was next door or 2 doors down from us. They had a nice selection of O-rings. We got the O-ring back on there. We went back out and tried it, and we still have a leak. So that was the end of testing, of trying to find the leak for this. And now we're going to do something tomorrow that I really, 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 really don't want to do. It is very risky, and it is going to keep me up most of the night. We are going to run the race car with no oil cooler. Now, I have a lot of stuff to take a look at engine temp and all that. Also, since we're not using that sandwich plate, we don't have an oil pressure sensor. We don't have an oil temp sensor. So this is going to be very sketchy, and I'm going to be very nervous tomorrow because this engine is not designed to go racing. It is a commuter car engine. It has very tiny oil galleys, so moving oil through there is, at a great rate of speed, and a lot of volume and a lot of pressure is not what this engine is designed for. But we have really great drivers that are going to understand that you can't push this car to the max. We're not qualifying for the Hungarian Grand Prix. We are having fun at Lemons, and we're ripping around Mid-Ohio. So we're going to have to be a little bit careful. We're going to be checking engine temps. We're going to be checking oil temps after each driver, after each session. And we're going to see how that works out. We're going to try it with the first session, see how it goes. Next session, we'll try it, and we'll just keep going throughout the day. This, like I said, this is not ideal. It's a very stressful thing for me because it's very easy to blow the engine up with super hot oil that can't get cooled. So we're going to run a little bit, probably an extra quart of oil, just to make sure we stay high enough and just to give us a little more cooling. I think the oil pan can take a quart and a half extra. So we're just going to have a little extra oil in there to help us, get rid of some heat. The good news is the 1MZ is an aluminum block and it's aluminum heads, so it dissipates heat very well. But can it dissipate enough heat for us to have a full day of running? That's what we're going to find out, and that's why we're going to do those first couple of sessions and measure temps and make sure that we're okay. The other issue we had today, and this one came in a couple of different sections, was we had some electrical issues, and these ones are very hard because you can't see it, you can't smell it, you can't taste it. It's one of those that's very difficult to diagnose, and you have to run, trace wires back. And with the MR6, half of your shit is in the back, half of your shit is in the front. Most of it crisscrosses back and forth. Excuse me. Oh, what is this? I actually found a bunch. We stopped at a Dollar General before dinner and got a whole bunch. So I'll be set for tonight and tomorrow. And so diagnosing electrical stuff is very difficult. Now, the first one we found was on Thursday. We found a fuel pump fuse had blown. And then on Friday, I found that the headlight retractor, when you turn on the headlights pop up. Turn off the headlights, there's a retractor, there's a relay. There's a fuse for the relay for the retractors. And so then the headlights go down. And that fuse had burned out. And that's a 30 amp fuse. That's a big boy. The one for the fuel pump was a 20. I think it was 15. I think it was a 15. But the one for the retractor is a 30. And that's a lot of juice. And so during the other testing and stuff that we were doing today, we found out that, let's see, who was it? I can't remember who came back in, but said the car, it sounded like the car was misfiring, and it sounded like there was, like a coil pack unplugged. So we went back, and again, this is more diagnosis from electrical stuff, and you have to follow it, back and forth from the battery over to the alternator, back to the fuse panel, to the power distribution center, and back up. So you have to kind of trace these down and find out where your weak link is. And the weak link turned out to be what's called the fusible link. And the fusible link in a car is to prevent backfeeding. So your alternator sends 12 volts and a lot of amps, usually 80 to, they have 200 amp alternators, so they can send a lot of, that's a big pipe. So they can send a lot of juice back and charge the battery. So what you don't want is for that alternator or that battery to backfeed to the alternator. So you have what's called a fusible link. So, because the battery is like 600 amps. So if that sends it back to the alternator, it's probably going to catch on fire. Bad shit will happen. We don't want that. So we have this fusible link in there where it's a little bit under what your alternator is rated for. And that way it'll, if power goes the other way, it'll blow and you won't catch your alternator on fire. You won't catch your other opposite side electronic component on fire, in this case, the alternator. So you have a fusible link. And they're usually very heavy, hardcore fuses, usually screwed in. These are screwed in. They're not just the little push-in guys like your, ATCs and ATM fuses. These are actually threaded in. You can't just pull it out. So they're pretty hardcore, and they're designed to take a lot of juice. The 60 amp fusible link we had was done, and that's why we were getting that misfire. The alternator is not making enough, the battery is not providing enough power for that to run the car. So we're getting things that are shutting down, like the computer for the dash, like the coil packs don't have enough juice to fire, right? So it sounds like a misfire. You have all this stuff where the battery's it's just the battery. The alternator is not charging the battery anymore. Now the fun part is, one of the other guys, Jeremy, was like, "Hey, I'll go find fuses, or we'll get a car stereo fuse or whatever, something big that can handle that." Well, and I'm like, "That's great." And he went to like 8 different stores, could not find it. In the meantime, we're doing other stuff with the sandwich plate, taking the alternator off, testing the alternator, making sure all that wiring's okay. So he went around and could not find a fusible link. Fortunately, tonight he's back in Columbus, and on his way back to the track in the morning, he's going to pick up a 30. I believe in my shop, I have a 30 amp fusible link and a 50 amp fusible link. He's going to grab those. We're going to use those in the car tomorrow. That should clear up a ton of our electrical issues. Basically all of them. And the other fun part is working on the car on the ground sucks for me. I'll tell you that right now. Crawling underneath that car and trying to do, like, oh, I got it. Oh, hold on. Let me flip over. It sucks. It's not that much fun. I hope tomorrow goes better for you guys. Thank you, Nikki. Yeah, it will. It's one of those things. These things didn't pop up because we didn't go to Road Atlanta because of my son's wedding. So these would have been found at Road Atlanta, and we would have fixed them prior to this event. Also, I had a lot of other personal stuff where I got a whole day torched where I couldn't do anything on the car. So I wasn't able to find this stuff. The good part is we found it before any sort of major damage occurred. And it sucks that we didn't get, 700 laps in today. But at the same time, we didn't kill the car. And we also got very familiar. This is our first time in Mid-Ohio with Lemons. They've never been here before. So figuring out how they're doing stuff, most of it's pretty similar to NASA and SCCA. Track out, track in, pit lane. All those rules are all basically the same thing. But you want to find out, sometimes Lemons does things a little different. So you just want to make sure you're doing everything right. You don't want to get black flagged for trying to be smart or trying to be cute or whatever. So that's sort of a good learning process. What else? And just like Liz says, tomorrow we'll get a ton of laps in because we found these little problems, and that makes the car a lot more solid and a lot less shit for us to worry about. So that's going to be a really good part about tomorrow. We'll get a ton more laps in. Now, here's the other thing. I know I promised you guys live streaming from the car. With our electrical issues and not getting enough juice, the computer in the car has a power inverter. So it goes from 12 volts and it converts it over to 120 volts, which runs there's an actual PC in a box in the car that runs our cameras, it runs our digital dash, it runs the streaming, all of that stuff. And because we don't have full-time, 14 volts, because that fusible link is, the alternator isn't doing anything. The battery doesn't have enough juice. It only has 10 volts maybe, and that barely is enough to run the car. So that's where part of our problems came in. The computer wouldn't fire up, none of this stuff. So finding these issues and resolving them gives us better results, because we really need that dash. We need to have that shift light to tell us when to shift. We need live stream for you guys, because I want you guys to watch what we're doing and how cool it is and how much fun it is and what we're doing. Also, we're not the only team working on cars. There's a Saab next to us, and those guys came in at the end of the day, and the guy was just wobbling the front left wheel. They absolutely torched a wheel bearing. And it was funny when the driver got out of the car, he's like, man, I'm having a hard time turning right. Really hard time turning right. It's just weird, and it doesn't feel smooth or anything. And then the other guy jacked it up, and he's like, oh, here's the problem. And it just teeter-tottered. So we're not the only ones that are, struggling through this. All of these teams, there's a red Volvo behind us, a box Volvo. I don't know what year, 82 maybe. They came in and out a dozen times, more times than we did. So, these are cars that you put them through incredible, like it's hard what these cars go through. And it's not, even though we have a Camry engine, it's super durable. 1MZ is a great engine, but when you push it really hard, it can push back. So the same things happen with other teams. You'll see guys come in, you'll see guys doing full engine swaps. Like they'll spend the afternoon like that. Yeah. Let's see, what does Nikki say? At least the pictures add horsepower. They do. And I want to tell you guys about the theme, because I don't want to say I'm bummed. I am surprised. I am really surprised that more people don't know who those two guys are, especially considering our location where the event is being held. We talked to the Lemons folks, and a lot of people know Brian Till because he's still on TV, and he's doing stuff with Fox and NBC and Peacock and all that. And he still does IMSA stuff, and he does IndyCar stuff. So he is still visible out there. But most people don't know that he is one of the lead instructors of Mid-Ohio. So it's one of those, like, I thought you guys would know who he is. And then Tommy Byrne was one of the top F1 drivers in, late 70s, early 80s. And people don't know who he is. I mean, he was compared with Senna. He was compared with Schumacher, all these guys, and people don't know who he is. And Tommy Byrne is actually one of the other lead instructors here in Mid-Ohio. Both of these guys are super, super cool. They're very nice. Both can wheel the holy shit out of a car. Man, you want to talk about driver mod? Both those guys got it. Yeah. Let's see. What did Liz say? If I can get my helmet cam and body cam up tonight, I'll share the footage. Yeah, that'd be great, Liz. If you could do that, that'd be great. So the people didn't really know them. And I just want to say I'm kind of bummed, considering the track we're at and all the stuff we're doing. I thought more people would know who they are, but they don't. And it's okay. So I educated a bunch of people on who those guys are. And now they're like, oh, yeah, now I know them. All right. Well, and it's okay. I did send a little walk around video to both Brian and Tommy. And Brian thought it was fantastic. He thinks it's really fun. And I haven't heard back from Tommy yet, but they were cool about me doing it. So I thought it would be fun. Thought it would be unique and location specific. And, because those people don't know about it doesn't mean that I bombed out. I don't know why there's so much headroom here. All right. Again, I set up the shot and it looks really good. And then I come on YouTube and it's totally different. So that's where we're at. We had a really nice dinner tonight. And Jeremy's back in Columbus, and he's going to pick up stuff at my shop on the way back here in the morning. And so we're going to get a ton more laps in, because that fusible link is going to be a very quick fix. We've already taken care of the oil leak, so we're done with that. The fusible link is going to be basically 2 screws, and we're ready to go. Because we've tracked it down, and that's kind of it. We've gone through all of the other fuses in the car, all the other relays. We should be cleared to run everything. Now, the other fun part is we should have the live stream up. And again, since I don't have the fusible link, I didn't get to test it. But I'm doing everything that I can about getting that up to you guys, because it's really fun for us to go back and watch that and see, the cool cars that we passed, that passed us, all of that. And it's also nice for becoming a better driver. Oh, this turn at Mid Ohio, notice how you're in fourth gear. You can go down to third and power through the turns. Things like that, you get to learn from it. Let's see. What did Nikki say? That sucks. I asked my uncle about the men, and he knew who they were, and he works on funny cars. Okay. Maybe I go to the drag racing world, and they know who, IndyCar and F1 guys are, and then I go to the funny car world, and they know who, dirt track guys are. Maybe that's the crossover. It's like you got to know the secret code. If you go to this, then you'll know these people. Let's see. You did have the best rap press. Yeah, thanks for helping me put on the vinyl. That was cool. It was one of those, like, I did the vinyl really quick. I got just a bunch of pictures of those guys, and they're fun. I think it's really fun, and I also think it's original. You see a lot of kind of, I don't want to say the same themes, but they're all very familiar. They're Scooby-Doo or Dildos or Charlie Brown or something like that. There's some guys who are doing Spaceballs, but their rig is kind of, their car's kind of ominous because they're using the Winnebago from Spaceballs as their theme, and the wings come out. So when they're going through the paddock, you have to kind of watch out because those wings are like right at the 5 foot mark, and they'll come in and they'll take you out. They're being very good about it, but it's kind of fun. So I thought our theme was good, and I kind of liked it. When we were judging, they really had no clue. And it's fun though, because I'm like, oh, I thought you guys were race fans. I thought you liked F1. I thought you liked IndyCar. Sorry. If you don't know that stuff, that's okay, And they didn't think that was funny at all either. But yeah, it was cool. So yeah, with Any Good Fortune tomorrow, we can live stream. That would be optimal. And if we can't, I've got a bunch of friends that were up there today. They took a bunch of great pictures. Joe and Carrie came up. My son Dominic came up. And we have a bunch of friends that have taken pictures. So I'll try and put all those pictures together. I'll put them up on my social media. That's probably, as best as we can do. And you guys, I appreciate it. You guys are sticking around and hanging with me through all this. I'm figuring out all the problems, and I'm trying to get them to you as soon as possible so that we can all enjoy all this stuff. And we're going back. We'll go to another event, and the car will just continue to get better and better and better the more we solve these problems and make the solutions more robust. It'll be an even better car next time. And let's see, what else do we got here? You did the hard part. I just peeled and played. I'm sure my Jeep has like 2 more. Oh yeah, Liz put a couple of, I had some spare hood numbers, and I was like, you can have them if you want them, because they're just going to hang out here at the shop. So Liz put them on the side of her Jeep. Probably did add horsepower. What else we got here? Give me the heads up on the live stream. I'll watch you guys. Yeah, absolutely. I think if you're subscribed, you can you'll get the notification. And with this stuff, like I said, we're going to do it per power on and off. So there might be multiple drivers, and their name will be on the side of the helmet, so you know who's driving. And so you might have multiple drivers per stream, and then we'll restart the stream after a power off, which is usually fueling, or I don't know. I don't want to have any issues tomorrow, but if we do, we'll go through it like we do. I'm not having something stop. I've had everything try and stop me from doing this, this week, and I'm not. I refuse to let it happen. I don't care. And I've got a great team, and they're doing the same thing. They're like, no, we're going out. We're going to, they jump in, and, Craig jumped in today and ripped off the alternator. He was just like, all right, well, we'll get this done. And then we're going through and we're testing stuff. These guys they're all in it. It's not just, they're not standing around watching me do shit. They're actually jumping in and, running to try and find 50 amp fusible lengths and stuff like that. So I'm not by myself anymore, which is great. That makes it a lot easier, but there's still a lot to do. And we have a ton more for tomorrow. I'm super excited. And just as a side note, just for the Back in Florida crew, I was in the shop and I did find this. So this will go back on the limo. I thought I had it in Florida, but it was actually on my bench in my shop. So this will go back on the limo, and it kind of completes the front, which is which is nice. Um, let's see. I think that's kind of it. And I will do a live stream on Sunday evening after the event. I'll probably be in the shop, and with the car, I'll give you guys a breakdown of what happened on Sunday. If we're not live streaming, I'll try and give you updates. And then I will be back in Florida next week, and we'll be doing more stuff down in Florida. Do you guys have any questions about any of the stuff that happened today, or anything about racing, or with Lemons, or with any of the other cars? I mean, I'm happy to answer stuff if you guys have got questions. No? Okay. Let's see. What else was really fun today? It was really fun to see my friend Kim Harmon, who I've known for a while from doing Lemons, and didn't get to meet up with her at Daytona, but saw her yesterday, and just waved hi to her today. And who else did we see? We saw Eric, who's sort of running the event. Or not Eric. God, what's the guy's name? Tim. Saw Tim today, who's heading up the event, and he's very funny and he's very cool and makes us listen to Ren and Snippy songs. Let's see. What else was nice? Saw a couple of the other guys that we've raced with before. One of the other MR2 teams, they run one of the Spiders, the last generation MR2, and saw those guys. Oh, my friend Jake, I saw. If you guys saw Jake, you wouldn't recognize him from when he raced with us in South Carolina. You wouldn't recognize him. Absolutely would not. I did a double take. He is a totally different person now. And he's here at his last Lemons race. He's actually emigrating to Spain. So, good luck, Jake. Have fun. Have fun over there. Sounds like he's got a great plan together, and he's going to go have fun and live abroad for a while. And super cool guy, really nice guy, great driver, awesome mechanic too. So, what else? Who else did we see today? Joan Carey, Sama-san. Trying to think. I think that's about it. It was even with all the stuff, we got a bunch of laps in today, which is nice. We didn't get as many drivers as we wanted, but we also figured out a ton of like really big problems that would have cost us down the road. So when you dial out those problems, it really helps. It gives you more time on track, and that's a huge thing. So there's a lot of these guys who will do a duct tape fix, and they're only going to be out there for 5 more laps, and then they're going to come back in. So we're trying not to do that. We're trying to do a more solid fix, and that takes more time. And so that's why, we're off track more. But eventually, hopefully that leads to more track time. And so it's kind of this balancing act you have to play. And the other thing is, I don't want to be at my shop on Sunday night swapping an engine out by myself. I've done that way too much in the last few years. So not doing that again. The really, really good news is Ted came back in from his session and said the car handled great. Tons of power, great handling. The brakes are super duper. Thank you, Brian DePaul, for helping upgrade the brakes. We have Lexus calipers front and rear now with a brake bias. Whew, it feels so good. Because when you want the brake bias, because when you go into, I'll try and demonstrate with toys here or with chargers. So when the car goes into a turn and you hit the brakes, usually the back end lifts. So your contact patch is going to get smaller, and it's likely that the car is going to roll around. It's going to flip around on you. So you want the car to remain level. So you have 4 nice contact patches here, your tires. So when you run the brake bias, when you dial the brake bias up or down, you can actually, the car's doing a wheelie as it comes, or, it's 69 Camaro as it comes in. You can actually move some of that bias to the back. So these front brakes don't grab as hard. These brakes grab a little harder. So now the car's level when it comes into a turn. And now you have a bigger contact patch, which means you can turn sooner. If you are up like this and you go to turn, that whole back end is just going to slide around because you have a smaller contact patch. So when you dial the brake bias, you're moving more fluid to the back, which means these guys are going to grab equally instead of more up front. So that's why brake bias is really important. And like if you see it on F1 cars, they can dial in bias between turns. It's really cool. It's all computerized and shit in those cars. This is just a dial that we set once when we go out, and then yeah, that's how that works. So that's one of the things. And then another reason for brake bias is for what's called trail braking, and that's a whole that's kind of a different technique, but it's great for regular just track driving. When you're hammering into turn, you want the car as level as possible. You don't want the back end up, and also at the same time, you don't want the back end to grab and the front goes, because then all of a sudden you can't steer into the turn. So you got to find that balance, and that's why you have the bias to keep the car level through the turn. That's the biggest thing. You have that big contact patch, which means you can steer, and that big contact patch, which means you can get power down quicker in the back to jet through the turn. So Brian DePaul set all that up. He found us the rear calipers, and he also did a new master cylinder, which is really cool. It's a little bigger master cylinder, so it holds more fluid. And he also set up the bias control. You literally pop the hood, dial a little bit less, then you're set. And depending on what track you're at, you can set your bias different. You know, you might need a little more at Road Atlanta, a little less in Mid-Ohio, whatever it is. You can dial that in. When you get a car from the factory, usually it's about 80% forward and 20% in the rear. So if you go to the track with that car, it's just going to absolutely, back end is going to come up. So when you have that balance, it really helps stabilize the car. And Ted said the car ran really great, lots of power, great braking, great handling. And so the car, when it is running really, really great. There's two messages that popped up here. What do we got here? Nikki says, I would be there if Nova's father wasn't coming over. Oh, well, okay. That will be an adventure, I think. Yeah, that would be cool. But don't forget, there's going to be other races. So I'm sure you and Nova can make it to another race, and get her. She'll, like her mom, she'll get addicted to the car culture, and she'll be fully in it. So whenever that happens, definitely don't force anything or push anything. When it happens, it happens. That's the cool part. You don't. They'll see that mom's addicted to it, and they'll be like, okay, that means it's pretty cool. I think Liz does that too with her daughter. Just look how cool this is, and then all of a sudden her daughter's just like, oh, it's so cool. So it does. It's not catchy. What is it? It's I'm trying to think of the word. I don't know what you say. Sally is sold. Yeah. Not addictive. What is it? Contagious. I think it's very contagious when a parent is doing something and a child sees it. They're into it. They're like, oh, mom's doing, oh, dad's doing something cool. Let me see what dad's doing. Oh, he's putting a supercharger on his car. Okay, that's pretty cool. Shiny. So I think that's how you get into it. You do a little bit at a time, and then it builds into, oh, hey, mom, let's go on Marketplace and look for, 70 GTOs with blowers out of the hood. And then you're like, oh my God, I'm so proud of you. And that's so cool. You've grown up. You're officially my child. We don't have to do a DNA test or anything. That's where it gets fun. And that's what was fun for me today, was when my son showed up, and he was like, yeah, I'm just doing live timing and scoring. I'm like, dude, we're in the pits. Of course we're not racking up laps right now. We're trying to figure out an oil leak. And he's like, well, I just wanted you to know you're not in first. I'm like, yeah, I know we're not. But we're not lost. So I'll take that. But yeah, I think getting kids into it is a really, really good thing. So whenever you and Nova want to come out to the track, let me know, and we'll get it set up. And you guys, don't forget, I owe Joe and Carrie for their passes. So remind me to send them, because they bought their passes, and I said I would pay for anyone that comes to spectate. So you guys remind me to do that, okay? Because I forgot to do that. I had a couple of other things going on today. So remind me to make sure Joe and Carrie get covered. What does Liz say? It's an addiction. Lindy is Liz's friend who's sort of sponsoring her drive. Said it was is like infectious creativity. She's having a great time, and she's supposed to go home, but she's staying. Oh, okay, cool. So yeah, see, that's the thing. Once you get in, you're in. It's so hard to get out. I've had a few friends get out of the car world, but 98% of them have stayed in. So yeah, that's the good part. And you build that, and your friendships build, and relationships build, and they get bigger and stronger and stuff. It's a great way to do it. It really is. And because you have such diversity, you can do, and you want to do hardcore racing, you want to do drifting, you want to do trophy truck, you have all these other options, and they can coexist together very easily. A little bit of an open mind, and you can coexist, no problem. No problem. And it's a lot of fun. You know, you have a husband that does drifting and a wife that does trophy truck. Trust me, they're going to be solid. He's going to love what she does. She's going to love what he does. And it's just going to keep going. So when you get those relationships, it's great. And then also when you can get your friends involved and you have that friendly competition, and all of a sudden you're like, yeah, dude, I was, 141 at Mid-Ohio on the pro course. Everybody's like, 141. I was at a 142 too. And I'm getting into the 140s. All right. So then you have those, those fun times too, which is really great. It's simple competition, but it's fun. Oh, and speaking of simple, don't ever compete against my friend Katie. She will do. So if you say you're a 141, she's going for a 136. Oh, she's one of the most competitive people I've ever met in my entire life. And I don't mean competitive like just the track stuff. I mean like working out or cooking or what. She's so competitive. It's fun, but it's like terrifying. So yeah, don't tell Katie your lap times, because she's gonna try and go faster than you. I'm just kidding with her. She's awesome, and she'll be racing with us again, maybe next year. She's supposed to race with us this year, but she's not. And you guys, I don't know what this was a cut. And then I was out in the sun, and this didn't get tan, which is weird because I think it was recovering. So that's not like an anomaly. It was a cut from when I was under the limo. So it's not a wart or anything. It's not tan yet again because it hasn't recovered. So I just noticed that. And yeah, my hair is all crazy. I have a jacket on because it's Ohio and it's April and it might snow tonight. So yeah. Let's say having littles. Yes. I don't know what having littles is. Do you mean little people? Or, oh yes. I know what you're talking about. Sorry, it took me a second. Craig's fresh out of the shower here at our glorious hotel. So if you guys want, hop over to his OnlyFans, and you can subscribe to Craig's OnlyFans and watch the whole shower session. I'm just kidding. He's been out of the shower for a long time. So that's about it. That's where we're at tonight. I really want to get you guys a live stream, so I'm doing everything I can to do that. Like I said, we've cured the and it wasn't a huge oil leak. It wasn't like we were pouring. We could have ran all day today with that. We would have had to keep checking oil, but we're running a risk of, destroying the engine, and we're also making it unpleasant for other people out there when we're smoking and we're dripping oil on the track. It's not safe. It's not fun. So better to come in, take care of that, find the problem, cure it, and then go back out. So unfortunately, we didn't get a ton of laps today, but we will get a ton of laps tomorrow. That is the absolute goal. And we have a really nice driver's list set up for tomorrow, which is going to work out great. We're going to get that test done first thing for the first session for the start. And then we're going to rip through drivers because we're going to be coming in a bunch to check temps and make sure we have fuel and all of that other stuff. So we're just being safe about all of it so that we have a car to race again. What I don't want to do, like I said, is blow up another engine or get us in a position where God forbid, we, kill the car or send it into the wall, or even worse, take someone else out. I don't want to do that. Nobody wants to do that. So we're going to be safe, and I'd rather be safe and have 10 laps than be incredibly unsafe and have 500. That's just me, and I'm like super conservative with that because I don't want to ruin someone else's weekend. I really don't. Actually, there's a couple people whose weekends I'd really like to ruin, but it's already been ruined because we're out on track racing. We're at Mid-Ohio. We're wrenching on the car, making it, as good as we can. So that is a huge win in my book, and that's driving several people absolutely batshit crazy, and that makes me feel pretty good. So I'll deliver that shit sandwich all day long. They don't have to say anything. They don't have to do anything. I know that I'm kicking ass. That's it. That's enough for me. So yeah, you guys, if you can get to the track, that'd be awesome. I would love that. And let's see, what do we have coming up? We have NCM coming up, which is National Corvette Museum. And there's nothing funnier than running a mid-engine car that's not a Corvette at the NCM track. And then we have, I'd really like to go back to Road Atlanta this year and do that. I know it's usually cold and rainy and shitty, but Road Atlanta is a really great track, and it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of cool people down there too. So we'll do everything we can to run Road Atlanta again. And I'm not sure about CMP because CMP is like 3 months away. So we'll see about Carolina Motorsports Park. We might go back down there because that's a pretty easy drive from here to Carolina. And if you're going to fly into Charlotte, fly into Columbia, South Carolina. That's probably, or into Atlanta. That's probably the best way to do that. And what else we got coming up? We got Tail of the Dragon coming up with all the Viper guys. That's at the end of May. I don't know how much live streaming I'm going to do from there, but we might do like a dinner, and I might throw up the live stream for folks to hang out with us. I might do that also on the personal channel on Kevin's Place, just because it's not really shop stuff, but it is all Viper stuff. So might do it over here just because it's a lot of fun to talk about Vipers and ask Angel about his Calvo Viper. I wonder, has anyone done a Viper in Lemons? Has anybody seen that yet? I know that's way past the $500 mark, but I don't know. I'm sure you'd get a shit ton of penalty laps, but you could have the first Viper there if you just, if you find a beer can one or something and put like a K-swap, that's obviously sacrilege. But if you got like a salvage Viper and put one of the V10 truck engines in it, that would drive Lemons. They would absolutely love that. That would tent their shorts, I promise. Yeah, Viper with the truck V10. It's so backwards, it's not even funny. So I don't know. Maybe we have fun projects coming up where we do weird things. And I've talked to Speedy Cop a lot, and he does some crazy builds. So maybe he can talk me into doing something insane like that. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Let's see what else. And just for the record, I did get halfway decent sleep. I got a little more than 5 hours of sleep last night, which was really good. Tonight, I will probably sleep another, 4 or 5 nice solid hours. So that's the other good part. When I'm going mentally this hard and physically this hard, I sleep a lot better. And not necessarily a lot better, but a lot more. Usually more than my 2 or 3 hours a night. So this is a good thing for me to sort of burn my body out and get that reload and rebuild. So doing all of this stuff and having these issues and trying, mentally to solve them on the spot, I have to kind of be quiet and think about this. How do we do the fusible link? And how do we take this apart? And oh shit, I left the funnel at my shop. Well, Jeremy could pick that up. And yeah, so doing all of this stuff really helps. It's good for my mental stuff. What does it say? Vipers of the Dragon. That's going to be great again. Yep. Oh yeah, Eric. Yeah. Yeah, not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Again, it's one of those things you figure something out. What I would really like is for Lemons Eric to go, to pop the hood on it, and he goes, truck V10 and a Viper, no shit. That's his big thing. When he sees a swap, he does Jesse from First Fast and Furious. When he's like 2JZ, no shit. He doesn't matter what engine it is. He's like, 1UZ, no shit. It's really funny. That's kind of his little shtick. So we'll figure it out. But we do have a ton of stuff coming up. It's not going to stop here. Like I said, hopefully we get the live stream going tomorrow, and we can get. I just really like the dash up, so we have a shift light. But we're definitely going to be conservative and make sure everyone gets track time tomorrow. Make sure we get good laps in, and everyone has fun. If I can get the live stream, I will. That would be really nice. But if I can't, I'll I'm doing everything I can to get this done, and having, it's a lot of technology in a little tiny car. So we're gonna see how it goes. And I think there's a lot of great teams here too. So, even if you just get to see your friends at the track, it's a huge deal. And even when I was racing, when I'm with NASA or when I'm at SCCA, seeing those guys every few weeks and gals is also, that's a lot of fun. And that's also part of that car culture thing. You don't see someone for 2 months, but then you see them at VIR. You're like, oh yeah, I remember, your, 3-valve Mustang, everything cool on that? Oh yeah, no, finally put a Coyote in it, whatever. And so, yeah, those are the other kind of really cool relationships you get from the track. You get all these updates from people doing all this cool stuff with their cars. And I think that works in kind of across the board. So in drifting and IndyCar and NASCAR, whatever, all this stuff you're doing and how much fun you're having at other tracks that, other folks haven't been to. I think that's a lot of fun too, finding out all that stuff. So that's about it for tonight. I really want to get you guys that stuff, as soon as possible. And I'm doing everything I can aside from, I don't know. I don't know where to get these fusible links. Like I said, we looked all around, Northwest Ohio, Northeast Ohio tonight. I couldn't find anything. So we'll hopefully find, Jeremy will pick up the ones that I have at the shop. I have more fusible links at my shop than most of Northern Ohio, so that's weird. But yeah, we'll try and get this going for you guys. And I really want you to hang with us and watch all the stuff that's happening. If not, then we'll have it going for the next race. It's one of those things I really like having that in the car, and I like you guys joining us and seeing what we're doing and what's happening all around us. You have all 3 cameras, so you can see everything. And it was this is going to sound weird coming from Ohio. It was nice weather today. Didn't rain, didn't snow. It was above 50 degrees for the majority of the day. It started off at like 39, but it was above 50 degrees. There were tons of clouds, but there was also a lot of sunshine. So it was actually a very nice Ohio day. Tomorrow, we are going to have a fairly nice day, and then it rains for the drive home. So, yeah, then rain starts for the next few days. So we did have nice weather today. It was nice to lay on the ground and actually work on the car versus laying in the mud. So we're going to keep going, and I'll keep getting you guys updates, and hopefully other people will take pictures of us doing stuff, and I'll try and get some other shots and video. If I hear from Brian or Tommy, I'll definitely let you guys know, and we're going to have some fun with this. So if you guys have any questions, comments, whatever, definitely put them down there. Shoot me a message. Shoot me an email. I'm really easy to get in touch with. So I really appreciate you guys hanging up. And to the new subscribers, thank you guys very much for signing on. I'm glad you're enjoying this. Normally, not in a crappy hotel room. Normally, I'm in my shop, either in Ohio or in Florida, and we're doing cool car shit. But tonight we had to do this. This is what we got. So we'll be back at it as soon as possible. And what else is this thing? I have a friend coming tomorrow to hang and take pictures too. Cool. So we'll have more pictures up there. And the pictures and stuff I'll get up on social media. If we have any cool video, I'll put it up here for you guys. Otherwise, we're going to try and get the streaming tomorrow. That's the plan. So thanks, everyone, for hanging out tonight. I really appreciate it. If you have questions about the pillow arrangement on my bed, you're welcome to ask. Yes, I did that on purpose. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for hanging out tonight and going along with all this crazy stuff that I do. I'm having a blast, and you guys are making it 100 times better. So don't forget to show someone that you love them. Give them a kiss on the cheek. Give them a kiss on the tip of their nose. Hold their hand. Give it a squeeze. It's really important for them, but like that thing right there, it's far more important for you. All right, I'll see you guys. Everyone have a great night. I like the pillows.
Huh?